Our father died when we were 12 years old, so our mother was she was a very strict church lady. I get quite emotional because she had to raise 5 children by herself. She was just outstanding. She did not have a high school diploma because of a tragic injury to her, but she made sure that growing up, that we not just stayed in school, but that we did very well in school. She would be my first champion of all.
His mother believed in education, the family believed in education.
She was a faith-filled woman and of course made great deposits in us.
Grew up in the North Heights in the days of segregation. Black kids went to black schools, white kids went to white schools, and we finished our last 2 years at Palo Duro. Our senior counselor, she said, "Hey, you boys are pretty smart. Why don't you go to West Point?" And so we said, "Well, what's that?" And she helped us write our letter to the congressman at that time, Bob Price, and my twin brother and I were the first set of black twins to go to West Point. Again, another difficult time because only the year before, the President Lyndon Johnson said to the service academies, "You must integrate." It's unfortunate to say that there is resistance to let everybody come to the table, to have a level playing field for everybody. When I came back from West Point, I was an angry, bitter young man trying to deal with this thing called racism. And after our mother got sick, we came back to Amarillo, and I tried a few other universities, but I guess West Texas became my college of preference. Finally graduated with my undergraduate degree in physics in 1976. I have a twin brother, Elijah. He is, beside for my wife, my life partner, there's no one closer.
And they depended on each other, and they had each other, and that was a good thing because life was not always easy.
The advantage of a twin is you always have someone to walk beside you. We talk 2 to 3 to 4 times a day.
I didn't always appreciate the fact that he looked just like me. He stole a lot of my girlfriends, and you can ask him that.
And I won't tell you a whole lot of trade secrets, but you know, because we are twins, of course, we probably had the same eye.
I first met my wife, I was 13 and she was 12. And I asked her then to be my girlfriend, but instead of her going with me, she liked my twin brother. And it wasn't until about 10 years later that she recognized that I was a pretty good catch. Going to West Texas, it was a bright spot. There were at least 3 professors that to this day I will forever be grateful for. And of course, one was my physics teacher, Dr. Martha Head. Dr. Head was just tremendous. She and Dr. Von Nelson, they showed me a better path. Also was a guy doing my master's, Dr. C.Y. Chin. Those people, I think, helped me to begin to dream. They helped to redefine who Elisha Demerson should be. I really wanted to be an engineer, but there were no engineering classes at that time at West Texas. And so physics was the next closest thing to a technical degree. Of course, then later on, I got my master's in engineering technologies.
He was a role model to young black students, and he was a role model to white students.
After West Point, I came back home and I just said, I'm gonna go to work. During those years, if you were a person of color, particularly black, there were really only about 3 openings for you. You could be a yard worker, you could be a custodian, or you could work in the kitchen. And so I started at Pantex, in 1971 as a yard worker. And 2.5 years into that, I realized that I couldn't support a wife and a child on a yard worker salary. So that was another impetus for going back to school and getting my degree in physics. And then I worked for the development division where I was a scientist. Then left about a 5-year stint away from Pantex, and then went back in '91 after I got my degree, my master's. So then I worked for the Department of Energy until I retired in 2014. In 1976, truly a giant of men, a guy named Jerry Hodge, offered me some opportunities to work on some committees in Amarillo. And in doing that, I began to dream. And so I ran for county commissioner, won hands down. did as a county commissioner for 8 years, and then decided to run for county judge, and of course won that. And I decided at that point that I needed to be a representative. So if people of color had issues, if people of color were in trouble, that they had somebody that looked like them that they could go to. And I think that has spurred my whole political career.
He's very compassionate about community, people that are less fortunate than him, people who are marginalized. He was always trying to uplift others.
The city had never had a black city councilman run and defeat an incumbent, which was really extraordinary.
This was at a time when there weren't a lot of black people who were holding public office in the state of Texas. As commissioner, that was formidable for Amarillo, but when he ran for county judge, that was formidable for the state of Texas because he was the first elected county official since Reconstruction.
So in my life, I've been a lot of firsts for this community and in some in the state, but it was never about being the first. It was about service. I tell folk that, you can get much more done from the inside than you can from the outside. And so that's why I stay in Amarillo. Why try to make life better somewhere else when life needs to be better here?
But that's because that's the kind of man he is. That's the kind of heart he has. Even now, a heart to serve.
I aspired to commit myself to public service, and I wanted to learn about those giants on whose shoulders I would stand upon. And he was introduced to me as someone who had been a trailblazer, a pioneer in a sense, for the African American community and for Amarillo as a whole. It really matters for a young person to be able to look up to someone who looks like them, because it really shows that someone else has been there before and they don't necessarily have to go it alone.
If I can serve, that's what I want to do. And so my whole life, whether politics or now as a pastor, it's about service.
Of service to others, and that's one of his greatest strengths.
He brings value to the name of the school. In fact, Elisha Demerson brings value wherever his name is spoken.
He's been through a lot, he's come a long way, and he deserves this award.
He is distinguished. I mean, what other city has a man who was the first black commissioner, the first black county judge, the first black county councilman? No other city has that. No other university has that. The university ought to be very proud to have him as an alumnus.
I will always say with pride that I graduated from a great university. Quite frankly, I don't know how I rise to the level of those individuals that have previously been selected to this great honor. So I'm just humbled by it.